What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Scares! That's right, everybody, we're finishing out our Hannibal series of reviews with the final film, and thank God that that's the case because Hannibal Rising was not great. Let's get cracking. Hannibal Rising tells the origin story of one of the greatest horror icons of all time, Hannibal Lecter. When he was just a small lad, he and his sister encountered a home invasion in which his baby sister was eaten by those that broke into his home. Now, as a young man, Hannibal plans his revenge on those men with his Asian aunt and ancient samurai sword. I'm not even kidding. I don't even know what to make of this movie. Literally nothing about it feels like Hannibal. In fact, on its own, you'd immediately call it a tale as old as time, an Asian fable on vengeance for those that have wronged our hero. You killed my father. You have brought dishonor upon my home. In order to restore honor, I must end you. I mean, his aunt's Asian. He practices and prepares for the battle by getting accustomed to a samurai sword. What is this movie? Whatever the case is, I feel like Thomas Harris is pranking us since he is the one that wrote the book and the screenplay. But from what I understand, he was pressured to write this story from a director that said, write it or else I'm gonna do it without you. Kind of a douchey move, don't you think? Look, I'm forced to think the story on its own is fine, albeit a bit stereotypical and cliche, but fine. But as a Hannibal story, it just does not fit. This guy in no way, shape, or form feels like Hannibal. He gets to be a bit maniacal and crazy, and I certainly got creeped out by him, yeah, but not in a Hannibal sense. Hannibal's a very specific type of character. He was always subdued and smart and manipulative. Hannibal could manipulate his cellmate into killing himself. He could make Clarice Starling feel like the imprisoned one while he's the one that's actually behind bars. He could go on long, drawn-out speeches that make you think. This kid in this movie is just plain crazy. Nothing manipulative or smart about him. Plus, how am I supposed to believe that this kid grows into Anthony Hopkins? I certainly can't. This film simply plays out like a standard Japanese revenge film. Nothing more, nothing less. Our character of Hannibal is an interesting anti-hero because he's also insane and clearly likes to just murder people. But at the end of the day, the heart of the story is a revenge tale that does not feel a smidgen like Hannibal. Other than, I guess, the clear nod to the face covering mask thing that they make him wear for a couple of seconds.
Look, it's Hannibal.
Taking a look at just the way the film is made, it is fine. Certain things about the cinematography was well done, some of the performances weren't bad at all, and the one part of the film that specifically felt like a psychological thriller, towards the end anyway, was indeed smart and helped kind of describe how Hannibal actually got into the cannibal thing. In general, though, in terms of trying to pick out the best Hannibal film ever, this will be low on the totem pole. Somewhere around Manhunter, though Manhunter still felt like a good murder mystery, which has always sort of been what the series was all about at the end of the day. Except for this one! Let's go ahead and break down my final score. From an unbiased technical vantage point, there's not a ton to complain about here. For the most part, this film is structured well enough, has some fair performances, some of the cinematography wasn't bad, but most of these things didn't impress me either. But the reason why you might hate the film has very little to do with the technical areas. Most of that was fine, or even better than just fine if we're being honest. This score is 62%. My bias score, or just how I personally felt about the film, was significantly lower because the reason why you might hate the film has much more to do with the fact that it does not feel like Hannibal. Now that's something that might just be me. Maybe you watch it and you think it does feel like Hannibal, hence it being in the biased category. But for me, it does not feel like Hannibal whatsoever, and that's a big drawback. To me, it feels like the wrong genre. It feels like odd character choices for a very established horror icon. And personally, the fact that this is not even remotely original hurts it overall, in my opinion. So my bias score is actually 44%, which means that when we combine the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 53%. 53 out of 100 possible stars, or a D+ letter grade. Guys, have you seen Hannibal Rising? And if so, make sure you let me know your thoughts on this weird origin story in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with the next review. And until then, peace out!
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1 critic that I go to when I need